Hey, welcome back to Overhead Athletics. I'm Max Wardell. We're going to be talking a little bit about hip flexor and quadricep flexibility. What we're going to talk about is the rectus femoris, which is both a hip flexor and a quadricep muscle. And so it goes past the hip, past the knee, and we see it very, very tight, high tone in a lot of athletes where it actually affects their gait cycle in sprinting. And it also has a problem, or is a problem, in throwing. When the athlete starts to get their chest forward, there's actually a hip elongation here. There's a little bit of knee flexion, and what happens is that rectus femoris is placed under a stretch, and if you're very tight, what happens is that knee ends up shooting forward. You get your knee out in front, so now you see one of these at the end of the throw, which isn't very optimal. We can eradicate those problems sometimes where there's excessive tone in this muscle or lack of length in the muscle through some neuromuscular relaxation, which we're going to use this RecoverFun percussion gun here. RecoverFun Plus, to be precise. They were kind enough to send me this gun, and so I wanted to give it a little shout out here in the video, but we're also going to use it, and they have a nice little attachment that we're going to use that's a little bit different than your regular foam attachment. It's not a typical aluminum attachment. It's actually rubber, and it has some air inside of it. So that's what we're going to use, but we want to make sure that we're testing and retesting. And so we're going to use a modified Thomas test here. It's going to look at hip flexor tone or tightness as well as that rectus femoris. So I'm going to pull this knee up to my chest. Then I'm going to slowly lean back. Now what you can see is I'm relatively tight here. So because I'm tight, what happens is I actually have a little gapping under the thigh and the table here. It lifts up a little bit, which it really shouldn't do. That could be iliopsoas, that could be rectus, but also my leg doesn't just hang vertically. And so we can see that because my leg is kicked out this way, there's tone in that muscle, there's tightness, and I should passively have no problem letting my leg hang vertically there. It's an easy test to look at hip flexor and quadricep tone. So we're going to do some stretching in this video, but we're also going to use this massage gun a little bit. So a few different techniques that we can use here is we're going to try to cover the length of the muscle, and we're not going to go super fast here. We're just going to try to once over, twice over the length of the muscle, and then we're actually going to get into more of that distal or that inferior, where actually down at the bottom of the muscle, bottom portion of the muscle. And so I'm just grazing over. So we're trying to create a little neuromuscular relaxation, a little relaxation in the neuromuscular system to allow us to get into the stretch further. Just after doing that, it's already a little bit better. So I'm sure you can see that on video, and I feel less tension just doing the test here. So it's a little better just after 30 seconds of some feedback into the muscle. So now let's go back to it. Now I'm going to start apply a little bit more load. I'm not pressing super deep into the muscle. Now I'm going to find where I felt the most tone or the most stretch. And now I'm actually going to do a little flexion extension here. So just a little flexion extension, targeting different parts of the muscle. So stick it in the middle of that thigh here. Shut it off. Set it down. And it's actually a relatively quiet gun. Now, test. Uh-oh, it's better already. But now let's get into the stretching component. Okay, so now we're down here. Our couch stretch, our wall stretch. I got my foot up against the wall, knees all the way against the wall on this pad. Probably could have a kneeling pad under my front knee here. I got this. I'm trying to tuck my butt under, so I'm tightening my core a little bit. I'm just going to hang out here. I got a minute in this stretch, just hanging out. So a minute here. I'm going to hang out each time. I'm going to try to get more and more upright. Right now you can see, if I go, I'm going to extend through my lumbar spine, which is something we don't want. And another common mistake is if I put my knee out here, yeah, I can get straight up and down. What I want to be able to do is get my butt to my heel without having to do that. So I hang out here for a minute. And I relax, come out of the stretch, sit on my butt here, and we're going to go back into a little more massage of the thigh wherever I felt that tension the most. Trying to induce a little neuromuscular relaxation here. So I'm just around the thigh. And there's nothing too specific about this. I'm just trying to get a little relaxation in between. When I'm at home and I don't have all the tools myself, I don't have a manual therapist per se. Really easy. I just sit here. I'm resting in between stretches. And I'm just massaging. I can adjust spots. Wherever I kind of felt that tension the most. Now I could even change attachments here. Back into the stretch here. Now, let's go back into it. Now I can automatically get up a little bit more upright. So each time I'm going to try to get more and more upright. Eventually, the final position here is to try to get this knee up, butt against the heel, butt tucked under. Nice flat low back. I'm not to that point yet. We'll see how far I get just at the end of this session here. So one more minute in the stretch. So I'm back out of the stretch again. We're going to go back into a little bit of flexion extension here of the thigh. Just going over, and it shouldn't feel super uncomfortable, but I'm just kind of going through wherever I felt the most tension during that stretch. I don't have a ton of pressure here. I'm letting the massage gun do the work. So not only am I getting a little massage gun action here, but I'm also getting a little bit of activation of the muscle while I do it. Now, if I really want to magnify my positive effects here, what I'll do is I'll actually put the gun down, and then I'll extend, massage while it lengthens, using my thumb contact here, and I'm trying to pull apart the muscle a little bit. So once again, just trying to separate, improve some gliding and sliding of the muscle, maximizing its effects using contact in my hands, massage gun, and some maximal elongation stretching. Now when I get into the stretch this time, I'm going to incorporate some contract and relax components. So now, let me get into that stretch again. I need that. Should have done that. Knee up all the way to the wall. Now I'm up to here, and you can see my pelvis is dumping forward a little bit, which isn't optimal, but this is a much more intense stretch. I'm going to push into the wall, so I'm trying to extend my knee, relax. Do 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, relax. I'm going to try to pull my knee forward, so now I'm trying to hip flexion, relax. Each time I try to tuck my butt a little more. Now I'm going to tense my glute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to come out of it. Now we need to retest. So we've already done the initial test. Let's see where we're at now. All right, so we're back here on the PT table. Let's see what kind of difference we've made in our flexibility. So I can't see it. I'll look on the video after, but I can tell you already there's much less tension, and my thigh is now in contact with the table, and I can tell that my leg is hanging down more vertical. So that's after 3 minutes of stretching. Now let's try to incorporate some sort of neuromuscular relaxation into our stretching. If you have a percussion gun like the RecoverFun, I want to thank RecoverFun Plus here, and the nice gun that they were able to provide for me for this video. That's a good way to implement a percussion instrument into your soft tissue elongation and stretching procedure, as well as how you can utilize some contract relax components, glutes, quadricep, hip flexor, in a rectus femoris stretch. We'll see you guys in the next video.